Hey, it's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Sherpa 2.0 Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on our 2022 Chrysler Pacifica. The Sherpa is going to be a premium option for you to get two bikes up to 40 pounds where you need them to go. It is a platform style rack, which means it holds our bike up by the trays and the cradles down here at the bottom, keeps it in place with this front wheel hook and one strap down here at the back. So if you want to mix and match this with your carbon frame or alternative frame bikes, it'll work because we don't make any frame contact. So we can accommodate those shapes and we're not going to damage the frame while we're moving, but it doesn't have enough weight capacity for your e-bikes. The first feature we're going to show off is the tilt function, which we can do by pulling this lever here in the middle. Not my favorite spot. If you do have a bike in front, it's going to be tough to get to. So it gives you a little bit more room back here if you need to, for any reason, get back there, but it doesn't tilt aggressively enough for us to actually open the hatch up all the way. We barely clear this pedal and we don't come anywhere near our handlebars as far as getting past it. So it does tilt away, but not far enough to get into the trunk on this vehicle. So we'll just tilt it up, and if we want to get into the hatch, we're going to have to remove our bike, and we can move on to that for now. First thing we're going to do is get this back strap undone. Straightforward. Just press this button. Ours is in there really tight right now, so press it pretty firm. Pull that strap out. Hold on to the frame of the bike now, because once we release this front wheel hook with this large button, it will start to shift. But the arm does go all the way down, which gives us plenty of room to get our bike up and off. So while I set this to the side, we can take a closer look at the trays and the cradles. So our maximum tire width is only going to be 3 inches on this guy. This front cradle does fold down though to save a little bit of space, which is nice. On the back here, this back cradle does pivot to support different wheelbases, in this case up to 47 inches. And right here on this tray you can see that there is a metal lock core. There is an included cable lock. It's not integrated onto the rack itself, but that's where you would put it when you use it to secure your bikes. So we'll clean this up, just move this out of the way of the cradle a little bit to get that as far down as we can. And now I'll get some measurements to see what it's like to live with this on the back of your vehicle. Starting first with how much distance we're adding to the back. That's going to be just under 31 inches, so kind of in the middle, doesn't stick out too far, not quite that compact. As far as ground clearance goes, I'll measure from this point here. That's going to be 18 inches. And we're not lifting super heavy bikes, so you're not going to have to lift them much higher up to get there. There's a nice rise in the shank overall. Even though the Pacifica does sit pretty low, it's still going to be high enough up that I'm not going to be worried about it making contact with the ground going up hills or over curbs. But using that same lever we used to tilt it away, we can fold the rack up. Now it does sit really close, but it's built really well, and it's not going to get much closer than that. So from the bumper to the closest point, it's going to be about 2.5 inches. We did notice also when our bike was loaded up, the handlebars were getting pretty close to our rear window, so that's something you're going to want to keep in mind, keep an eye out for. As far as how much distance we saved, the bike rack now sticks out just over 12 inches or 1 foot. So in this position, it's actually really compact. It sits close enough that it doesn't extend out too far, but not close enough to worry about. But you might also be curious what it's going to cover up on the back of your car in this position. So as far as our license plate goes, you have tons of room to see over that. And our backup camera, kind of the same thing. You're definitely going to see the bottom or the rack out of the bottom of the camera, but you're going to have tons of room to see over the top on either side. And it's pretty much in the middle, and it doesn't go tall enough to interfere with our taillights at all or our rear window. If we want to take a closer look at how it fits onto our car, first things first, the rack uses a 2-inch shank into our 2-inch receiver tube, in this case, held in place by this pin with a lock that's going to be key-like to that lock core for our cable lock. And it is all secured with this hand knob here in the back. It's anti-rattle. So it takes all the shake and play out of the rack, and everything is really sturdy and overall really well built. So as far as the Kuat Sherpa 2.0 goes, there's nothing really to complain about. It's just there's a couple more things that I might be looking for out of a rack that you get for this value. So, I mean, it looks really nice, it tilts, it folds. The tilt just isn't quite aggressive enough to get all the way away from the vehicle. And I do like the fact that we do have a cable lock that's included, but it's not integrated onto the rack, which is another thing to think about. So if you are interested in this rack, I would maybe check out something like the Rocky Mounts monorail. You end up getting a 5-inch tire width and 60 pounds per bike weight capacity with that rack, but you lose out on the finish and the overall build quality and the aesthetic that Kuat brings to the table. So whichever one's more important for you could be an option. But this again was just a quick look at the Kuat Sherpa 2.0. There are also black, pearl, or this gunmetal gray, so 3 colors overall. You can find one that fits your aesthetic. This is the gunmetal gray and the Sherpa 2.0 from Kuat. Took a quick look at how it fit on our 2022 Chrysler Pacifica.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or a pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Now lastly, we're going over some full speed bumps, and we can see here the up and down action, and this will just be like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway. So we can see here how the bike rack moves with our truck.